If anyone has ever called you weird for a part of you that you know deep down is natural and wholesome and harmless and maybe even particularly vital and alive and beautiful, then I want to let you in on a secret. And I have just a little story that leads into what I want to share. So stick around for a minute. Um, I'm a writer, and so I should know how to spell basic words, but there's certain ones that I always have to double check, and weird is one of them because in the English language there's supposed to be this rule that I comes before E except after C, but that does not apply to the word weird. And it also doesn't apply to a bunch of other words, but um, that's beside the point. In any case, because of that, when I'm using the word weird, sometimes I just have to go double check how it's spelled. And I did this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and I just, I think I was making a TikTok or something. I was doing something on social media. I spelled the word weird, and I went to double check the spelling on my phone. So I typed it into Google, and all of a sudden, I was just checking the spelling. I wasn't checking the definition of the word. But all of a sudden, up on my screen pops up the definition of the word weird. And I've pulled it up right here on my screen so I can read it out to you. I just see the word weird. And it says, suggesting something supernatural, uncanny. And then it says, archaic, connected with fate. And I guess it's an archaic the archaic origins of the word are Scottish, and the Scottish origin of the word has to do with destiny or being connected to one's fate or being able to control one's fate or have a supernatural power. Um, and this is all just like in the description of the word weird that I pulled up on my phone. I'm just like skimming and paraphrasing. Um, but basically, it says here the origin of the word weird comes from the Old English weird, or in quotation marks, destiny, of Germanic origin. The adjective, late Middle English, originally meant having the power to control destiny and was used especially in The Weird Sisters, which I think is some kind of play or work of literature, originally referring to the Fates, later the witches in Shakespeare's Macbeth. The latter gave rise to the sense unearthly, early 19th century. Um, so my mind my mind exploded as I was reading this. I wasn't looking for a definition. I wasn't looking to understand the linguistic root meaning of the word weird, but I stumbled into it, and what I discovered was that the root and origin of the word have to do with supernatural power, destiny, and being connected to one's fate, which is absolutely fascinating to me because it's something I've struggled with for my entire adult life and my youth as well. Feeling like a weirdo, feeling that like there's these parts of me that I can't get rid of. It's like my very nature, my very destiny, but it feels so isolating and bizarre and unusual. And as I've grown, the weird parts of me I've realized for myself are often quite harmless. Sometimes they're even really kind and creative and beautiful and loving and empathetic. Um, but they still feel weird. And they get judged by people as weird sometimes. And what a fascinating thing. It felt like life was winking and laughing at me, like there was some trickster kind of peeking from behind the veil, laughing and saying, look, it's baked into the word. That weird thing in you that you've felt ashamed of in the past. It's your power, it's your destiny. You can't get rid of it. You've been learning this, now just own it. And over the past few years, it's gotten easier to own. My weird has gradually felt less and less weird. And like I said, I'm an author and I write books of very vulnerable, honest stories of personal experiences. And sometimes what I do is I share things, it's like I take my mask off and I share things so honest and sincere. Sometimes people see that and they're like, ew, weird. Ew, look at all those feelings. Look at that man. Look at that insert the blank. Um, part of, being a person or a creative and becoming authentic means being judged sometimes. It means not caring. You have to accept that humanity is a mixed bag and there's lovely people and there's cruel people, and sometimes the cruel people are really loud, um, and they like calling things that they don't understand weird. They like calling really beautiful things weird when they don't understand them. Um, and yeah, for that moment, as I read that origin and meaning of a word that I had wrestled with, it just felt like this beautiful, beautiful um, wink from the creator of life and language and everything. Um, and I wanted to share it because I know I'm not alone in feeling like some of the most beautiful and innocent and wholesome parts of myself are weird or shameful for some reason. And it's crazy to think that when people call those beautiful parts of me or you weird, they might be using the right word, but they might not know what the word means, and they might not know how to appreciate the beauty and power of what it is they're looking at. So yeah, just something that I wanted to share, and maybe something to remember next time someone calls a beautiful part of you weird. They might be using the right word. They just might not know that they're calling you supernaturally powerful, connected to fate and destiny, and like generally awesome. It's like if it is like a wholesome, you know, there's a kind of weird that's just like not harming anything. And to me that's kind of the weird that that I'm talking about today. Anyhow, just wanted to share this. If you enjoyed this, and if you're interested in checking out my books, do I have a copy here somewhere? I'll put a link to it in the description. My latest book is a collection of honest stories about what I'm talking about today, just about um, being authentic, being that weird, goofy person in the world, and loving people and embarrassing myself, and yeah, learning how to be strong enough to be that weird, vulnerable person. Um, and yeah, if you're interested in checking it out, link will be in the show notes. And yeah, until next time, everybody, um, keep on being weird. Keep on being weird. Thank you for joining me, and take care.